I found myself in Bunnings recently to buy yet more supplies for my husband Terry's newfound woodwork hobby. As we approached the checkouts, I noticed a lot of fire pits for sale. It seems that with people spending every night at home, backyard fire pits and campfires are more popular than ever. Facebook is filled with so many pictures of people staring into the flames. Fire is fascinating when it's controlled. But we don't have to think too many months back to when fire was not an enjoyable evening activity. It was a fearsome and deadly disaster. Fire, fascinating and powerful, and the central image of Pentecost, when the Holy Spirit is said to have fallen on the early Christian community like fire from heaven. The first Pentecost came to a world divided by empire, language and culture. And into that world came the fascinating and powerful impact of the Holy Spirit. Pentecost is a celebration of coming together, of reconciliation between people and God and people with each other. And we are invited to reenact and live out Pentecost reconciliation afresh in our communities and our contexts today. This week in Australia is Reconciliation Week, and it seems to me that Pentecost and Reconciliation Week form a beautiful fusion. National Reconciliation Week was initiated in 1996 by Reconciliation Australia to celebrate Indigenous history and culture and foster reconciliation in our nation. Today, we join that celebration and the shaping of Australia's journey towards a more just, equitable and reconciled nation. Over these past 20 years, there's been a greater acknowledgement of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander rights to land and sea, the impact of government policies and frontier conflicts, and an embracing of the stories of Indigenous success and contribution. Reconciliation is a journey for all Australians, individuals, families, communities, organisations, and importantly, as a nation. In an article in Others this month, Uncle Vince, our beautiful Salvation Army elder, reminds us that there are three key elements to our journey to reconciliation. Firstly, it needs a commitment to telling the truth about Australia, understanding, as he says, the good, the bad and the ugly of our shared history. God is committed to shining a light on the truth and bringing it out into the open. This is essential in any healing process for individuals, families and nations. Secondly, reconciliation requires the buildings of relationships of trust and mutual respect between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. This comes from spending time together, listening and sharing stories, or as our Indigenous sisters and brothers say, yarning together. Finally, when we have built trust and confidence in our relationships, we can work together as partners in our local communities. This is a great opportunity for Salvation Army mission expressions to work together in collaboration, to live out our strategic initiative, which says that we, the Salvation Army, are committed to the work of the mutual flourishing of Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. This year's theme for Reconciliation Week was chosen before the bushfires and before COVID-19, but it's incredibly fitting. The theme is In This Together. If the past months have taught us anything, it's that our fates are inescapably tied to one another. We are truly in this together. So if you find yourself sitting around a fire pit in these days, as you gaze at the fascinating and powerful flames, pray that the Holy Spirit will come afresh in Australia, that the Holy Spirit will come and work in and through us to restore broken relationships, to heal the wounds of racism and exclusion. We are in this together, our journey of reconciliation. May it start with us this Pentecost day.